In the physical worlds, everything eventually stops. A book runs out of pages. A television episode rolls its credits. You reach the back page of a newspaper and you fold it up. But if you open up a social media app right now and start swiping, you will never hit that final page. The digital environment is entirely bottomless. You probably know the feeling of opening an app with the intention of checking it for 5 minutes, only to look at the clock and realize 2 hours have completely vanished. We tend to blame ourselves for that lost time, treating it as a failure of personal willpower. But that behavior is exactly what the system is built to produce. You are interacting with a piece of digital architecture known as the infinite scroll, and it is arguably the most successful psychological design flaw on the modern internet. To see why the infinite scroll is so effective, we have to look at how we navigated the early 2000s internet. Back then, search engines and message boards used a system called pagination. When you reached the bottom of a screen, you had to physically click a button that said "Next" to load more text. Behavioral psychologists call that required physical click a cognitive stopping cue. It acts as a momentary speed bump in the user experience. That brief moment of friction is highly important because it forces the brain's executive function, the prefrontal cortex, to wake up and assess the situation. Suddenly, you have to make a conscious choice. Do I actually want to spend more time reading this forum, or should I close the laptop and do something else? By demanding that physical click, early web architecture baked conscious decision-making directly into the browsing experience. The infinite scroll completely deleted that stopping cue. It automatically loads the next video or image before you even realize you have finished the last one. This bypasses the prefrontal cortex entirely. You never hit a wall, so you never have to make an active decision to keep watching. You only have to fail to make a decision to stop. From an evolutionary standpoint, humans are wired to constantly forage for new, novel information. This graph models what happens during a swipe. Every time you pull down on your screen, your brain receives a microdose of dopamine, creating a sharp spike in neural activity. Dopamine is often misunderstood as the chemical of pleasure. It is actually the chemical of anticipation. It drives the craving for a reward rather than the enjoyment of the reward itself. Because the feed never ends, that feeling of anticipation never resolves. The brain keeps expecting a final payoff that the software refuses to deliver. This effectively traps your brain in a continuous chemical loop, turning a natural evolutionary drive into a compulsion you can barely control. This unbroken loop creates a psychological state known as a dopamine deficit. This deficit explains why you keep swiping long after you have stopped enjoying the content. You are stuck in a constant state of seeking. The infinite scroll is a brilliant piece of behavioral engineering. It exploits our biology with extreme efficiency. Understanding how that mechanism bypasses your prefrontal cortex is the required first step to regaining control over your digital environment. To break the trap of a frictionless web, we have to look at our screens and intentionally build cognitive stopping cues back into our routines.